Okay, it's lovely to meet you both today. Thanks for coming along. I wondered if you could tell me a little bit about your footballing family.
Oh.
Well, I started like Val in five-a-side football from college back in the 60s, and then played at Romarsh Baths, and then we went from there to form the team at Kilner's Shooting Stars in 69.
But Mum and Dad always used to come and watch us. When we travelled, they were always there. Unfortunately, my mum was at the game when I got me one and only red card, and she didn't appreciate that I was swearing.
No, Val, we have to hear more about this story.
Because I was a lot thinner in those days, still tall but a lot thinner, and we were playing a team that was physical.
Yeah.
And I used to play on the left wing, being a left footer, and a girl kept on tapping my ankles, and I just said to her politely, you know, please don't do that. If you do that again.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah.
So I kicked her back.
Yeah.
And I got a straight red. The words was very choice. I mean, it was directly opposite where my mum was.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So I got told off twice. Once by the manager and once by my own family. So, yeah.
And just on a serious point on that, Val, do you think that referees are sometimes harsher on women for those kind of offences, or?
Yeah, I think you know, probably we should be more feminine when we're playing, but you know, you need that aggressive or channeled aggression when you play football.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes they're a bit derogative, the referees, towards women.
Yeah.
And don't do that, lovey. As if you'd say that in a football match, but they did do. And that's not very nice, is it, that tattle? Instead of getting on with the rules and regulations of the football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, you're speaking here as a very qualified and experienced referee. Can you tell us how you got into that from your playing career?
Yeah, well, from starting off playing five-a-side, and then into the 11-a-side in 69, and then I got married in 74, and I still continued playing football, and then I decided, well, it came about that there were courses for referees, and I thought, well, when we do have a family, then hopefully I'll be able to continue on that line instead of playing, although you still have to be physically fit. And then I had my first son in 77, and we've got some memorabilia of him footballing.
Yeah.
And Mum's a referee and Dad's left holding the baby. So I've had two boys, one in 77 and one 80.
Yeah.
So I refereed from about 72 up to 92. So,
and is that because it was more flexible for you and easier to sort of play in a
just
team?
did local games, but it went up to county senior level of football where I did the line and that. But mainly local. From all age groups, from little ones, which were 11 then, I believe now there's teams that play at 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds.
6 and 8, yeah, all through.
So they've definitely gone up in my estimation to get them from the grassroots, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were you quite ambitious as a referee? I mean, I know you went through your
yeah,
licenses.
I was quite strict, but just to know that women can do it as well as men. And some of the comments that you got, especially like, you should be at home doing Sunday dinner. And I used to say, well, my Sunday dinner was ready Saturday night when you were out at the pub, you know. So it's all about preparation and that, but usually I just let it go over your head
Yeah.
And just ignore the comments and get on with the match in question, what you're doing.
Yeah. And from that, would you say, having qualified as a referee as you did, does it make you watch the game differently?
Yeah, I'm watching the referee and where they stand. Because I couldn't, at first when I was refereeing, because I'd gone from a player to a referee, that I could never understand why I kept getting hit with the ball. And it's because I was getting into a position to receive the ball if it was a keeper kicking it out. And then I got blasted in the face once at point blank range, and I think I learnt my lesson there.
Yeah.
To just do the diagonals and keep away from actually where the play is at that time.
Yeah.
But I was just doing it as I'd done for years as a player, waiting to receive the ball.
Yeah. So, as sisters who both played, what was your kind of weekly routine like? So, say we go back to the very first start where we transitioning from this 5-a-side team to the 11-a-side. What would your typical week around football be like?
If we weren't watching football, we were playing football. We were training. We were, everything was, dependent on my dad in particular to take us to places. So we all travelled together. We all did the same preparation. All ate the same food before we went to games and things like that. And we all went to watch Rotherham together. As brothers and sisters, we went to watch Rotherham, and so everything revolved around what you were doing to get ready for next episode of football. There were never any arguments in our house when football was on, because there was only one channel that we were going to watch, and that would be the channel that got football on.
Yeah.
Annetta still does that.
I still do that.
So you're a footballing family, and the whole week when you were both still at home revolves around football.
Yeah. Because of age difference, Annetta went off to do her nursing, so she were off in residence at Doncaster Gate.
Back to 68.
Yeah.
When I started doing my nurse training.
Yeah.
47 years I worked for health service.
Yeah, so it still revolved around football. We might be in different locations, but it always brought us together. So yeah, we've been a sporting family.
And I used to do a night shift and then go home, have breakfast, and then go out and referee a match.
That's dedication for you, isn't it?
So you got your priorities right then, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And just talk to me about that, because you both had, very long professions, quite high-profile professions. How have you managed to balance that with your football?
It's difficult because both of us work shifts, so it was, trying to work around training, work around both as shifts, swapping shifts, getting people on board that were interested in, women playing football and getting them to swap shifts. I used to work mornings all the time, and I got somebody else to work afternoons all the time, so I wouldn't miss training. And you work shifts,
and
didn't you?
I work nights because of children, and so they were either my husband or myself were there. So sometimes they come to match as well, especially when we were at home at Kilnest.
The children?
Yeah.
And what did they do?
Well, sometimes they had their own ball and were kicking it about.
They're not really interested in what we were doing.
Watching the match.
Yeah.
But then my youngest son, he were involved in school football and that. So the eldest one is more technical and graphic design and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it sounds like you had supportive parents to get you into it for a start.
I think you still have. You still got to have that family structure that supports youngsters. Because how do they get to games if not?
between us, we've got nearly 100
Oh,
years
God.
of football, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it sounds like you had, just in the same way that you got a supportive family, it sounds like your family supported you
That's right, yeah.
and your husband and your children. What do you think they think about your career now as a pioneer?
Well, actually, the granddaughter, she's just done, they have this show and tell at school, and they've got to have somebody in your family that had done something special. And she actually took it's a photo of my eldest son kicking a ball with me in the referee kit. And she said, my grandma used to be a referee. And she's
how old is she?
And she's 9 now.
Amazing. So they're all very proud of you and what you've managed to achieve in your career and what you've done for your communities, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
We've certainly put football on the map and got a lot of kids interested in that and doing good in that way.
And just to put it financially in context, I think we've established that your football career's cost you more than you've ever made out of it.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, I could have retired a long time ago, I think, if I hadn't have had football.
And just talk me through what you used to earn as a referee.
Well, on a Saturday £1.50 and on a Sunday £2.50.
And what do they get now?
£35 our referees and £25 foot line.
Yeah.
So very different.
Yeah,
And something that you've done for love
that's right.
all through your life.
Yeah.
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 Well, thank you for being inspiring.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Your hopes for the Euros?
Oh, well, I just hope that England can do it. I'm sure with all the backing and, well, what's gone on the background there, make it right. We've got some decent players.
Yeah, we really do, don't we, this time?
Yeah.
Really do. Thank you both.
Thank you.